Thank you, Gloria, for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you, Lou, for the wonderful space. Yeah, so I've been to Boston a couple of times and met Gloria, and it has been a good relationship. And especially thank you, Gloria, to advise my daughter last summer, probably for a few weeks, and then we benefit so much. So Madeline is getting into MIT. Okay, and let me start by saying that Amino Capital, we have been around for 13 years. We really achieved a lot, but actually mostly is done by a group. Today I'm so honored to have my partner, Dr. Huikan Zhu, and Dr. Suji here. So we basically make all the decisions together. We discuss. So investment is really about a balance between risk and the potential return. So this balance is very kind of subtle. So three of us work together, we really can make a pretty good balance. So I'm kind of more aggressive, and Dr. Huikan is more on the technical side. It's more kind of have a more overall approach. And Dr. Suji come from a medical background, also come with a very strong math background. So all these get together, we can make a very good decision. So today, I think I will say a few things. And the best way to do is we kind of all three of us come together and we do an interaction. Especially, I want you to ask questions, because the last 3 days we host a lot of events, and I think the best result is when people interact, we can provide much better answers. So with that, and let me invite Huikan and Sue together. We just have a fireside chat, and I think each of you should think about what kind of question we want to discuss. We may not have the answers, but together we can probably have some good solution.
Maybe we can have 2 more chairs. I can sit here. I can sit here. You guys can sit in the high chair.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, as Larry just mentioned, and then I think we very happy that we launched 2 educational initiative. Wow. I look like I'm a student, so this is 2 masters. So I wanted to ask Larry. It's very funny. It's not funny, but it's very nice. A lot of people actually got to know you by Master Lee, and then so you actually help a lot of companies, like almost over 20 companies, which we invested early and then later became unicorn from 0 to billion. And then what inspired you to actually start this educational initiative, Master Lee Silicon Valley Academy?
She said she did it 2 days ago.
Yeah, so this is a new initiative because I think during this time the AI changed so much, and the education system we have actually really cannot catch up with what really need. I think this is in connection with Glory, right? Education right now, the normal practice really doesn't apply as well with all the changes. So with that in mind, we think about how we can advise more entrepreneurs become more successful. Right now, whatever they learn from school, whatever they learn from work, is not enough to really start a good company. And there are a couple of things. One is with AI, there are a lot more things they can do by AI. So there are a lot of new skill sets they need to learn. Secondly, as we talk about the robotics, I think the new founders right now, they realize they don't have enough hardware supply and experience. Recently, we see quite a few startups working on robotics. Actually, the founders really never really seen a real robot. They just learned very good theoretical stuff in a good university, including Stanford, Harvard, but they really never touched robot at all. Right now, the key is in this AI age for the world model is more about how it make hardware soft. With all the hardwares today, we see a lot of robotics, but they really cannot do much. So make the hardware soft, really need to have founders to be able to get access to robotics and certain kind of hardware. And this supply and we will facilitate the students. Secondly, we want to connect those founders to the community leaders and business people who really have a real need. It doesn't matter how manual this kind of work, but they need this kind of real work situation to train the robot. So that's why we build such a program, just connect the students, literally the entrepreneurs, with business leaders and with the hardware supplies and with the researchers.
Yeah, so it's actually very easy for you because you already have a couple of million followers of Silicon Valley Master Lee on social media. So it's more like really a pull effort here. It's not really push effort. So I feel very fortunate to work with you because it's very easy to get followers for the university. And then question for Dr. Chu. So definitely, as Gloria mentioned, Dr. Chu joined Google year 2000, and right at that year, Dr. Chu invented the Google image search. And then I think from Google Pioneer, your journey to educational builder, that's very, very inspirational, especially you actually achieved such success in technology and VC. And then I wanted to ask you, why dedicate so much energy to education and serving on educational board like UC Santa Barbara or Hacker School and your own nonprofit?
First of all, thank you, Gloria and Lou, and for having us. And one thing I want to clarify that I'm not the number 10 at Google, the within 100.
Okay.
Within 100. I was within. I spent many years at UC Santa Barbara. When I first came to the US, I joined the PhD program at UC Santa Barbara. Spent 5 years there, and then I joined Google in year 2000. I think that the 5 years at UC Santa Barbara definitely gave me a lot of preparation for my future career. I was really fortunate to be able to graduate right after graduating from UC Santa Barbara and joined Google right away. I think the whole journey, as like everyone, and I guess a lot of immigrants from China probably had the same kind of background, right? You came to the U.S. on a student visa and study in the U.S. and then start the job here. And for me, I think I'm really fortunate to be able to join Google and see Google grow from a very small company to hundreds of thousands of people today, and $4 trillion. Very big, very dominant player in AI in search. I think for me, I definitely feel like I should give back. That's why I set up a foundation just to and dedicate to supporting education programs. And UC Santa Barbara is definitely one of the high priorities on my list. I'm also on the Hackers board. I guess a lot of people from the East Coast. East Coast has so many great private K-12 schools. On West Coast, there are very few, and Hacker is actually one of them. Kind of like maybe the best in the Bay Area.
For sure.
I have 4 kids, so yeah, and they all gone through the K to 12 at Harvard. It's definitely, I think they definitely benefit a lot from there. I also try to support the school within my own capacity.
Wow.
It's pretty, I think, a really good experience, and so it's to be able to work in people to be part of the Harvard school too.
This question is for Larry. So I felt like many universities, even Stanford, and they're still organized around traditional disciplines. And then why do you believe that robotics and large language models represent the most important educational opportunity for the next generation or this generation? And if you were 15 or 18-year-old again today, would you spend more time learning coding, building products, or working alongside robots? Will you be excited?
Oh yeah. I think that whatever we learned in school in the past few decades will become less relevant in this AI age. Just like an example, before you need to learn a lot of things like abacus and all kind of skill sets, right? And those skill sets become useless. Right now we have a computer. Before you have to do a lot of cooking. Now you can go to restaurant. So all the skill sets we learn in school become less relevant. And right now the new AI age, people require new kind of skill set. Number one, we want people to have a skill set as a builder. They really need to use the latest technology, including AI, to catch up the basic necessary information and then start to build. They don't have to learn from the very old the mathematics, physics, as long as they know the basic skill. So it's very different now. So that's why the newer way of teaching, the new way of learning is becoming very relevant. Secondly, actually more importantly is the how to teach a student, because what we need today is not only a so-called a professional. It's more about how to be creative. The repetitive work, it doesn't matter if it's physical or mental, as long as it's repetitive, the work will be replaced by AI. So what we really want to propose is to let students learn how to be creative. What we found in the past few years is the entrepreneurs and employees who do well are the people who are mostly creative. This kind of mindset become more and more important. How to become creative is kind of difficult to learn in the current education system. How to encourage young people to be creative, how to encourage young people to be able to focus on the customer need is something we need to emphasize.
Yeah, so I think when I talk about 18-year-old, that's already a little bit too late, because as Larry said, Master Lee said, my daughter went to preschool. She's only 3.5-year-old, and then she went to this project-based Montessori school. So every day, there is no classroom like this, right? So every day, teacher will be like, what do you want to make today? And then she will be like, I want ice cream. So teacher will be like, how many of you want ice cream? Oh, there are 5 of you guys want ice cream today. So they will actually provide all the stuff, material for the kids to learn how to make ice cream. So imagine in Silicon Valley or in Boston or New York, there are such kind of school. So when they are getting to 15, 18-year-old, they already been working on thousands of projects. So entrepreneurship suddenly becomes easy for them because they have been through so many projects. Entrepreneurship is just another new project. So that's why we've been investing in high school kids these days. And then next question is for Dr. Chu. you mentioned you have 4 kids and you didn't brag about it. I left that opportunity to Larry. You forgot. So Dr. Chu has 4 kids, and 2 of them went to Harvard, 2 of them went to Stanford undergrad. So I trust your judgment. And then my question will be like, so I want to learn your home routine. And then we know that many Silicon Valley executives, like SVP of Meta or early Googler, started to buy humanoid robots like Unitree at home, right? And then why do they do that? Like, do you feel like in the future, every home will have a robot, and then would that be good for the kids? Do you think kids will learn from having a real robot at home? Because we have this club of people, right?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at the history of the past 20, 30 years, right? It's things change so quickly, right? We started with the internet era. That's about maybe 30 years, 35, 40 years ago. The internet era, right? With Yahoo, Google, and many famous companies back then. Internet with Google, particularly with Google, right? It's a search, right? You can organize information with internet, and then we have the mobile computing. Right? Mobile computing, basically, you can access information everywhere you go. Then we have cloud computing. Right? Cloud computing is like you can scale, right? You can scale if you do anything, you can get the huge amount of computer resources without buying computers. It makes everything scalable. Then we have AI. AI is like make information intelligent, right? It's not just that you can find information. Google used to be just a 10 and give you 10 links, then you have to figure out which one's the best. Now with AI, like using Google as the example, it gives you AI overview, right? You don't have to go through the links anymore. It's already summarized everything for you. So make information more intelligent. But then what's next, right? Next is a physical AI, the humanoid robotics. Basically, you want AI to not just find the information for you. You want AI to do things for you. That's what robots can do. But the humanoid robotics, those that can get into your family, not those in the factory industry, they are still 5 to 10 years away. They are still not that good. They can, they can run, they can dance, they can do a lot of things, physical things, but they are still very, clumsy. They, even like picking up anything, picking up a glass, picking up garbage, it's still very, very difficult for them to do. I think it's a very good time for kids, even for us, to start to learn how to work with robotics, because there is still time for kids to learn that. If you have young kids, I think it's a time to grow with the robot and try to get familiar with them, so you can get ahead of other people. Still, they are still 5 years away. They are still 5 years away, and if you can get, I think that's why we also set up something called Robotics and LLM University.
Exactly.
We want to bring the AI researchers and students with robots. Yeah, not everyone can have a robot at home, but you can get them together and show them to kids, to students, and they can learn to play with them and program them.
I just feel like if you're a guy in Silicon Valley, you're technical. When you work with kids, you like mom, there is like different kind of like dancing, or they wanted to be, we just want to be drivers. But for you guys, if you wanted to, walk your kids, you wanted to do something that both you and the kids feel challenging. That's why you wanted to build a robot together with the kids, and then I really respect that. And then next question would be for Larry with Dr. Chu and the Master Lee's support. And then I'm also on the board of Little Library Foundation in Menlo Park, Atherton. So in a little town in Silicon Valley. And then this library, there are a lot of young kids. This is all immigrants kids, young kids, and in flight from Silicon Valley to New York City, I was watching this super sad movie called Rosemead. I'm not sure any of you also watched that sad movie based on real story in LA. And I feel like in immigrants, especially Chinese families, and then we are ashamed talking about our newer, diversified kids, and then especially kids with mental health problem. And then in our foundation, little foundation, we figured in Silicon Valley, it's genetic, right? So we figured that if these kids have ADHD, autism, and then their parents, oftentimes they are super good technically. They're very good at debugging, and then because it's genetic, so a lot of the kids, they actually have ADHD and all sorts of problems. But based on my research, 80% of those people, they just think differently, right? So they're talented. 80% of their talents will not take advantage of. They might be super smart, high performing in certain discipline, but we didn't have the chance to discover, and it's all wasted. This is based on research from Jonathan Chang from Stanford University. So this is something that we advocate. But my question for Larry is that, in Silicon Valley, we are not ashamed of having ADHD. I feel like I have ADHD. So words like this, ADHD, curiosity, and non-linear thinking are often seen as outliers and being compared with Elon Musk and Bill Gates. So some of the world's most talented and super successful founders, they might not fit traditional education system. So in your mind, and how should parents and educators identify potential in young people who don't necessarily fit, conventional definition of academic excellence?
Actually, we see a lot of smart people, very good parents, but they have a kid with ADHD. So there are two ways of thinking of it. They are special. The kids are special. They're really, it's not really a bug, it's a feature. Right now, I think when we look at the kids, look at the education system, we tend to think people should be perfect in all areas or supposed to thrive in all areas. But we do see a lot of actually very talented people. They are strong at one thing or the other, but on the other part, they might not just do well compared with other people. So I don't believe this kind of ADHD is really a serious kind of an issue. We have to correct every kid. Just think of myself. When I was young, I was not really good in school overall. I love one thing or two, like I love mathematics and physics. I really don't care about all the other subjects. And yeah, initially people think I was not a good student, but later on, I get into high school, I need to get to a good university, then I started to study the whole everything, including many subjects I hate. So it's not really something we want to emphasize too much about the kids. We really need to accommodate the special need. Same thing when we look at the founders, we don't see, basically based on our experience, it's not the perfect founder, so-called, or good students who become success later in their career. It is the people who really kind of have a very strong body and mind, and very resilient. Those people who are really good at one or two things, not everything. So
But how do you tell somebody has resilience?
Mhm.
Right? How do you
Resilience,
pick a founder that is so early in stage, and then you say, hey, they're resilient, they can deal with it.
Yeah, that's the major part we're talking about every day. So when we look at the founders, of course we look at their education or working experience. This says a lot about the person. What we notice is the young people who perform better and better are the ones who later become a very success. It sounds like it's easy, right? Actually, it's not. Like we see a lot of people who might not attend good university or even graduate school, but those people who always want to learn. So this is something very interesting. Like there are people who are doing really well when they were very young, but when they get a little older and older, they're so tired of what they have been doing, so they decide not to read anymore. I think one of the examples I have is I'm from Tsinghua University. What I find out among my peers, at least, are the people are more successful when they were not from Tsinghua, but they got into a better they got into Tsinghua or good university during the later time, like master degree or PhD. But people have kind of a very biased. They say, oh, you have to be Sanqing, right? You have to be bachelor, master. Actually, yeah, the people we see become more successful are the people who are doing better and better. Like they were not in a good university to begin with, but get into Tsinghua or other prestigious place later on in their life. Many of the examples I can bring up the names, like they were not from Tsinghua for bachelor, but they got into Tsinghua for just a simple master degree. This shows how resilient they are. You know? A lot of people after university, they're done. They're done with learning. Even including the student from Tsinghua, they're done. So they hate books.
But how do you like recognize Eric Yuan of Zoom, like way back? It's like he's the founder I want to back. I'm gonna get together angel fund and back you. Like among a million people that you probably come to you for money, right? So how do you just pick the one? It's like almost like you find the, you know.
I mean, when we do look at whether a founder is a serial entrepreneur or not, we have a lot of factors like some so-called features in AI, right? A lot of factors to evaluate a founder. Whether or not it's a serial entrepreneur is one of the factors. I think that basically shows it's okay to fail, but you can get up and try again, and that's something we think is definite. That person has a kind of really resilient. That's one of the things we look at.
If I may just follow up, I wonder what role storytelling plays in this, because how do you gauge resilience unless someone tells you their story of resilience? Let's say,
Exactly. All of us.
I failed, but then I bounced back, right? To prove that they were truly resilient, right? Or that they didn't go to the best university in China,
Yeah.
but they worked so hard and did X, Y, Z to achieve,
That's our idea.
right? So what role, for you, when you're meeting someone, are you also listening to, I like her or him because of their story, their narrative?
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is we talk about the religious belief, right? What we find out is people who are grateful, who are optimistic, tend to be the good entrepreneurs. You see these kind of people, right? Some people around your neighborhood or your workplace or in the classroom. Some of the students, they always say they're lucky. It sounds like all the good things happen to them with luck. Same thing with entrepreneurs. We see a lot of entrepreneurs say, "Oh, I'm lucky." You also see some people who always say, "I just have bad luck all the time. This time is bad, next time is bad," and the people who surround me, I just bump into some people who cheat on me or they're not honest. But so that's about resilience. Is the people actually the resilience come from two parts. One is a mental right? Physical, that's by nature. Some people just good at overcome some difficulty and move on. Some people may not be able to do that. But on the other hand, the key is the mentality. When people really kind of grateful, has integrity, they tend to be surrounded by people like that. That's not kind of happen by accident. What we learned over the years is the people with integrity, with grateful or positive thinking, tend to be able to identify the people who like them. It sounds easy, it's not. You have to be that mindset to identify similar kind of people. For people who are always feel I'm just bad luck, I think they just blame things on other people. So in that case, they really cannot find out who is good and bad. When you are grateful, when you have your own integrity, then you can easily identify the people with that kind of mentality, with that kind of character. Then you smartly choose to associate with those people. You don't want to hate people, but you want to you want to spend your time with the right people. Then those kind of people tend to get more and more people surrounding them. So then they build this kind of supporting system. This supporting system makes them more resilient. And how to see that is the result. Some people they always keep doing things better and better, and they feel they have good luck. And some people always say they're not successful because of bad luck. So that's something we feel is there's a correlation between mindset and the resilience and the success.
Question. So I think at the time when you invest money for we who are selling in the Asian groceries online, that is one kind of decision criteria. But today in the AI robotics time, what's your criteria when you have to to decide the investment decisions? Compare with we, that kind of.
Yeah, it's a slightly different, but for we actually, Dr. Hui can find out the company, his family use that.
I'm a
Also.
big customer too.
Yeah, doctors.
Go we.
Yeah, Dr. Hui San served on the board of we for 5 years. So the success of we is kind of much more associated with Dr. Hui Kan than me. Back to your question.
Shawnee.
This is Larry, not Sunny. They're slightly different. So as I mentioned before, when we look at entrepreneurs, we care less about really their one's kind of education or working experience other than a person who learn fast. But during this period of the time, I think it's we look at people with a very good experience. Yeah, like the people who has a relevant education in terms of AI or in terms of the very specific skill set in terms of domain knowledge. So those are the key. Because right now it's so easy to start a company and the company moves so fast. So if you don't have a lot of knowledge in AI, if you don't have a lot of knowledge in a particular domain, and then it's difficult to move on fast. That's as I mentioned, this could be a temporary thing. I think over the long run, it is still the person, the resilience, the capability in terms of execution are the key.
So when you nowadays evaluate the risk with AI robotic startup, what's the biggest concern? Because a lot of people doing majority robotic, they're dog jumping, people walking, there's no productivity or anything. How you manage those risks and what's the biggest concern here?
Yeah, and for AI, this is a definitely, exciting time to invest in AI startups, but it's also very difficult to pick the good ones because the foundation models themselves are really already powerful enough. A lot of things can be done by just using the ChatGPT, Gemini, or Anthropic. Right? So many startups, they claim they can do a lot of things, but they may be just a thin wrapper around those those big models. So so how do we tell if it's just a thin wrapper from those that can actually get things done, have their own mode? Yeah, it's a question we are definitely asking ourselves all the time, and I think we have an answer. What we do is we have been emphasizing on data from day one. It's one of our investment core themes. Basically, as an AI startup, you have to have some kind of data mode. Either you can have some private data that other startups don't have. Like if you claim you can be you can if you have a startup that do help doctors check talk to patients, can help doctors organize the medical history of a patient, and how can you do better than others, right? That's very if you can do something, if it's just in wrapper, another founder can come in and just do the same thing. So and thing Larry mentioned earlier, right? You for those young kids, high schoolers, if they have parents or relatives or some friends that work in the medical area, those who are doctors, then they can have some exclusive access to those data, and that data can help them to be different from others, can get up quickly and get some customers. Then from there they can expand. Another thing is that they can accumulate the data. For example, we have what's the current unicorn Accurate? Oh no, Avoca.
Avoca, yeah.
And also InstaWork. They just worked with those blue collar workers. By working with those people, they were able to collect a lot of information about their interest, their work habit, their preference. And now with AI, they can add a lot of intelligence to their app, and now they grow very fast. Because if you just do some intelligence, everyone can do that. But with blue collars, it's difficult. You have to talk to them one by one. You have to, get some. We say that you have to do some dirty work to get clients. I think that's very important. That's also one of the things we look into. Basically, you have to be willing to do some dirty work to get customers.
You guys don't really need to save the seat for us because we are sitting here, right? So those seats really, for us. Yeah, please sit. That's for Sue's chair. Go ahead, sit there. I don't know.
Also can take more chair
Right, we
from
don't need
outside,
it, yeah.
okay?
Since
Frank, Benjamin
we're
will
here.
help, okay? And another question today is about the education, right? So in AI robotic time, education changing very fast. What do you envision in 5 years? The role in AI robotics in education and healthcare, which is the two fundamental,
Sure. I think that's a very, very important question. You heard a lot of people, they were saying, hey, robotics, we don't need humanoid robots because in manufacturing, there is already arms, it's already very mature, which is actually true. However, we have often seen humanoid robots raise so much money. World Lab, physical intelligence, and then Figure, a lot of companies, they are working on the ultimate goal, which is a humanoid AI. And then what's the difference between what's happened now might be 1.0, and then in 5 years might be single scale humanoid robots, that's 2.0. And in 10 years, hopefully, that will be the next wave, the third wave of humanoid robots mass adoption. So there is a problem right now. What's the problem? Data. There's a Berkeley professor. He actually mentioned this 100,000 year problem. Meaning, if we wanted to have a large language model level generic humanoid robots with the current speed of accumulating data, it will take 100,000 years. So that is why there is a huge challenge to get data. So a lot of people didn't understand data is actually the core in terms of training humanoid robots. However, if we don't actually raise so much money, billions of dollars, with billions of dollars of valuation, there is no way for all these humanoid robots to actually go through the next couple cycles of bubble and bubble burst. So they have to raise that much money. So if I work for World Lab, for Professor Feifei Li today, and then my goal is not to commercialize anything. My goal is on research, to really solve the bottleneck, the data bottleneck, the model bottleneck, to solve this 100,000 year problem. So I encourage everybody, including girls and boys and even young kids, this is a long way to go, but this is an enormous opportunity. There are so many opportunities, so many ways to contribute to the next, maybe in the next 10 years, there is unsolved problem. Hardware, software, data, design, economics, and labor replacement. How do we, like in Japan, that's why yesterday we invited somebody from Japan, because that might be the first immediate market. Because in Japan, people growing up treating Hello Kitty as a friend, right? Rather than in here, we're afraid of, it's very unfortunate. In here, we heard people saying, no AI, it's labor replacement. I don't want to be replaced. But in Japan, they were like, oh, robots, they're my friends. So, there's a lot of changes need to be there.
Thank you. One question. Thanks for giving this very good example. The data is always the most and very important asset for all the trainings in AI. And that question would be, if the robotics, they need thousands of years, let's say 10 years, from the current research to the productions. From the venture capital perspective, how do you manage the pressures from your LP to be monetized? Because like there are a lot of deep tech companies, there are some certain properties.
How can they make money?
Yeah, and there are things not going well. Research, we all know about this. So how do you handle this?
There are definitely companies in robotics making money right now. Data collecting companies. You thinking like Scale.ai, right? So they were acquired for $20 billion by Meta. What they're doing, they're selling data to hyperscalers and people that wanted to train model. So there are definitely companies that are actually selling data to Frontier Labs right now, to World Lab. They're raising billions of dollars. They can't manage every single tele-op. So they need company who collect data for them. So that's why we invest in company that collect data for hyperscaler, for Frontier Labs. But there are other companies who are making monies, yeah. And
So when I go around the world, invited to speak at different finance-related conferences, like in Bloomberg in Qatar, and Wall Street Journal conferences, this and that. So one of the theme that most of the big bankers on Wall Street believe is the American exceptionalism. Is that what you believe, like in your area, that American is absolutely the best in terms of AI? And are you looking at Chinese companies? Where are we? Are we going into an AI bubble? What is your view on that? Probably that is more relevant in terms of what I do.
I would say today, the AI, just the software side, right? the U.S. companies are, maybe a few months ahead.
Few months.
Yeah, if you look at
That's
the evaluation scores, you look at all the metrics, the difference is actually very, very, very small. OpenAI has 5.5, Gemini 3.1, 3.5. And if you look at those comprehensive intelligence metrics, they are just maybe 5%, 10% better than those open source models from China, like Chen Wen from Ali, DeepSeek, and a couple others. They are actually very closely behind. If OpenAI doesn't roll out a new model in 6 months, it will be exceeded by those open source models. So they are better, but not much better. On the other hand, if you look at the physical AI, right, America is definitely much behind China. Right? The only robotics that can sell to home to research labs are those from China. You have Unitree, you have Zhiyuan, and maybe a few others. But Optimus from Tesla, you cannot see them anywhere, right? And also figures, they only target industries today. So I think they are still, hardware-wise, definitely much behind China. So right now I think for us, we are doing robotics. We are also trying to, we also have this robotics university. We want to make sure, actually, some kind of collaboration. If we can somehow bring hardware from China with the pipeline there, also with the AI brain maybe from the US, then hopefully we can have a much faster progress toward the humanoids in the household.
A question for Larry. Larry, I know you always study new fund. Now let's say you raise a $1 billion fund for investment theme, and what kind of highest allocation you will do for your $1 billion new fund for AI robotics?
Okay, actually, if we do investment, there has to be a balanced approach, and robotics is just one part of the work we are doing. We are also very focused on application. So right now, we're very much focused, probably spend about 20% of the fund on deep tech and 80% on the application. It doesn't mean the application company has no tech. It's very kind of deceptional. But the deep tech is a company that very focused on technology. So the risk is on technology. If the technology fails, the company fails. That's called deep tech. For application company, the key is to utilize the latest technology and then develop something really useful by the marketplace. So we kind of having this kind of approach. We invest in deep tech, like a company called Matrix. It's a semiconductor company, it's a $4 billion company. We invest in a deep tech company called Alpha Design. Like within 1 year, the valuation go up 10 times. So like using AI to design chips. But most of the time, or 80% of the time, we invest in application. We believe the application part has much more opportunity. Education doesn't mean it's low tech again. So just like Amazon selling books, just like Tencent making game, just like NVIDIA making a small chips just for gaming. For game machines, very small. It's not that so-called high tech. The real application, the real useful company who produce something useful, if they continue to grow, they will become a tech company, just like Amazon. Their AWS is the best, one of the best AI infrastructure. Same thing with Google, right? It's a small search engine company, literally it's a tool, but now they're become big tech. So the reason we focus 80% on the application is we feel the opportunity in the application side is kind of for everybody, right? I use example like same thing with the internet, right? For people who invented the TCP/IP, really doesn't make a lot of money. It is the people who utilize internet to build useful things like Yahoo, Google, and the rest, making more money, making more impact for the society. If you go back a little further, just like a TV, right? For people who invented and designed and manufactured TV, yes, they make some money, but there are much more people who are using the technology to make TV program, those movie stars or the celebrities. There are many more celebrities than the people who invented TV. There are many more people who are making so much money on the platform of TV than those people who are manufacturing TV. So same thing with the technology, same thing with AI. They will be people, we see that already, right? The people who work for NVIDIA, people who work for OpenAI, for Anthropics, they become millionaires many times over. In Silicon Valley, the price goes up again, the housing price. But there will be more people in Silicon Valley, as well as outside Silicon Valley, will be much better off or making much more money by using AI. So that's how the society will transform itself. That's how young companies and young people like people here and your kid, they actually have much more opportunity to making money fast because of AI. So I'm very optimistic, and that's why we invest in so-called application. Really means we really invest in people who can make something useful.
Sorry, good question. And George, she is the president and the chairman and founder of New York Century Development Company.
We met.
Yes.
I met Sue and Larry before.
Yeah. And so, I think I just, kind of think maybe the biggest cost for George, maybe the labor cost of hotel management, construction workers. So, and we just curious, and what's the application in real estate construction and hotel management when the robotics can make the, rent a hotel and, really build it.
We don't know anything.
So like maybe you are the people who know the advanced technology in that in robotics. When this robotics become productivity.
But the internet and the computer already transformed the hotel industry, right? Now we have the largest hotel without a hotel, which is called Airbnb. So the key for any industry, it doesn't matter how manual, how backward, how not related to any kind of technology. For those businesses, the key is digitization. Literally, Airbnb digitized the hotel industry. Literally, the Uber digitized the taxi industry. Uber became the largest taxi company without taxi. That will happen actually to many domains. It doesn't matter if it's a tailor, it doesn't matter if it's a haircut, any industry, as long as it's not digitized, that's where the opportunity is. We all know the story of Amazon warehouse. The salary there is many times higher than other warehouse because they digitize the people's work. Like a worker, how long you go to the bathroom a day, how long you take a break every day, how many boxes you move, how many boxes you ship. It's so digitized. It sounds like this kind of information is useless for one day, but if you get this data for over a year, right? I always use the example, if you go to the bathroom 10 minutes or 20 minutes longer every day than other people, that person will get fired automatically. That's for manual work. Just as you hear last week, Facebook started to digitize or literally measure the keystroke of all their engineers. It's not that they not just follow or train their model on the computer program. No, how you use the keyboard, which key you hit, how often you hit, everything is recorded in Facebook. Literally, Facebook as a frontier company of AI in digitization, they still haven't done enough. So if the software engineer keystroke need to be measured, just imagine in your industry, whatever you are in, how much more you could do. Once you have those information, as Dr. Hui Kan and Dr. Xu mentioned, right? Once you have those data, then you can become the platform. If you don't do that, you will become the Uber driver for your business, for your industry. But if you do that, you become the Uber of taxi for your business. You will become the Airbnb of your domain. But if you don't, you just become a Uber driver. You just become a owner of Airbnb. Just you take your house and let other people live there and make some money with all the labor work. So back to your question, I mean, there are so many opportunities out there for anybody here. AI will transform everything. This is something very bad for the large company. It's very good for new people. New people, if there's no change, there's no opportunity for people below. If there's no change, there's no opportunity for young people. Because of the changes, the new people, the young people, the new people including us, the immigrants, when the new people come here, the establishment will just charge their toll. They don't have to work, right? It's the new people come here to do the labors. But when things change, the system changes, the up and down changes, then the new people will have out. So that's why we are so excited to be here.
And in terms of timing, that's why just build on top of Larry. So in terms of timing, I really like you mentioned, who knows anytime soon. I like it because we believe the same thing. It's not gonna be next 18 months, it's not even gonna be next 5 years. So that is why we started the Robotics University now, because we experienced the same thing. Like we started Blockchain University in 2014, when blockchain absolutely hated by Sandhill. Because in 2013, there was a lot of Bitcoin mining company, and 2016, suddenly Bitcoin price went down, and then all the mining machinery company, a lot of them went bankrupted. So back in 2016, a lot of the investors in Sandhill will be like, oh, that's a blockchain university? No, I don't want to invest it. My investment in mining machinery just went bankrupted. But we came in and we started Blockchain University in 2014. And 4 years later, in 2017, we got into a startup called Omisi Go, based in Thailand. And then that was June in 2017. And then that company from $15 million pre-ICO to $1 billion market cap in 2018, just within 6 months, $1 billion market cap. Imagine if we didn't have Blockchain University, if Vitalik wasn't the mentor in our university, how could we know from Silicon Valley, how could we know a small team based in Thailand gonna be the next blockchain unicorn? There was no way. So that's why we started Blockchain University, Robotics University today, and we attract people from OpenAI, from Meta, from Stanford, because we put people together, we talent people together, and we read papers and reproduce skills. And then, you know what, the number one skills people want to build is for construction, building, construction sites, or for kind of like maid, right? Help me make my bed. Those are very typical number one skills that people wanted to build. And then within the next 5 years, and when the next unicorn, before everybody else, we can catch the next unicorn early. So this is how we have been doing this for the last 15 years at Silicon Valley. That's why we got into the first, money into Chime Financial, the Alipay of the US. We were the first money. And then we got into the, I don't know, like Pinduoduo of the US. So we got, Omisi Go, so we were the first money. All this company, the reason why was that we were early. So that's why I really like what you said. Who knows? Same thing here. Same thing here. Yeah. Okay, so the next question, actually, I want to ask Larry, and if we can, Dr. Chu just mentioned a little bit. So for the first generation, right, immigrants, and you do, like we do whatever for the kids, but for the second generation, and then they actually have their own challenges. And then, so what kind of traits that you are looking for in the second gen? And what kind of second gen that you feel like they should take advantage of their unique experiences and unique nature as a second gen?
I think it's very different. When I come to the state in 1990s, I have a 600 minus, right? I borrowed the money to buy the air ticket to come to the state. So we've been through a lot. When I was in university, I have to go to work in the grocery store, and it's in Florida. I wear t-shirt and short to work in the grocery store, and then they sent me to the vegetable place. It's very cold. So I've been through a lot, and I've been through like when I talk, nobody understands me, and all kinds of things. When I cannot understand the professor, I have to drop out of a class, which I pay for $800. So I've been through a lot, and that's pushed me to be resilient, and pushed me to work very hard, and pushed me to utilize all my potential, which is really good for me. But for my kid, they have everything they need pretty much. So the sense of urgency, the sense of eager to learn, it is something we have to really push to let them realize life is not supposed to be this easy. That's a very, very
So how do you inspire inner drive, self-drive in these kids?
I think there are two things I'm thinking. One is really don't give them money easy. One of my partners or friends said he only gave his kid money if the kids make money. It doesn't matter how they make money. You have make salary, you make 100K a year, then he gave his
Match.
Yeah, he matched his kid's salary. That's something I'm kind of trying to learn. We try because the money is too easy for them, and just let them realize, their work means something. Secondly, I think, to be honest, people are different. Not everybody is supposed to be an entrepreneur. Just like not everybody is supposed to be a professor. Just like not everybody is supposed to be so people are different. So if the kids, they really like what they're doing, I think as parents, we can only do so much. I don't want to push them. I have two daughters. One is really the two are very different. Just to say that, it's very different. They go to the same school. One always finish work on time, go to bed at 10 o'clock. The other one always work until midnight. Just imagine, same school, same kind of coursework. How come one person work until 10, the other person work until 12 midnight? It's personality. So people are just built different. So we don't want to like push everybody to be the same. Yeah.
So who are the investable ones? I felt like you said you like second gen. They are so investable. Put on your investor shoes. You like them.
Well, in this case, of course, the person who worked really hard self-driven, other person really can achieve more potential.
But that doesn't have to be your kids.
Right. Yeah. So people are just different. Like the same thing with Big Kang. He has experience with a twin. What? So different.
Yeah, I think that right now definitely encourage the kids to try their own things. I have 4 kids. Right now, 2 are like in startups. As Larry mentioned, when we came here, we don't have anything. Had to worry about our visa. Had to worry about the work permission in the U.S. It's and also I guess we're all both married, right? Had to worry about family too. So it's a lot of things to worry. But for my kids, I just tell them, you should try whatever you think interesting. My daughter, she dropped out of Stanford in her junior year. Just spent 2.5 years at Stanford, and then she joined a startup. According to her, even her professors, right? This is the best time to get into the AI startups. If you miss these few years, you will regret for the rest of your life. Then she just dropped out. My son is in he co-founded a startup with his friends. It didn't go so well. They had to pivot to something else. But I think it's a good time to try. As Larry said, they don't have anything to lose. You just have to encourage them to things change so fast with AI, with cloud computing. If you want to have a startup, you don't have to invest a lot, right? You just need a laptop, and that's it. You don't even need an office. So, why not have your own startup?
So go ahead.
Question. So last year when we in Harvard Club do the class and we have the students doing the longevity clinic, your advice to him was like find a special focus and not like only the strategy and so on. So now he started the longevity club in Shanghai and Tibet. He wanted me, as I will meet you, he wanted to thank you for the advice because they are very focused now. But now, a lot of like yesterday was Harvard, a lot of PhD students graduated from physics or law school and so on, so they couldn't find a job. So a lot of people end up doing become a young entrepreneur in AI robotics. Now, what's your advice to them? Like you did a very good advice to the students last year.
Fundamentally, you still need to be focused, do something really useful. Just like robotics, right? This is a contradiction, right? The human being become more successful, the society grows better because we professionalize, right? Like 10,000 years ago, we do everything. We do the hunting, we do the killing, we do the cooking, everything, right? Nowadays, as long as you're good at one thing, you're pretty good, right? You're a good cook, that's done, yeah? You just be a good cook, you don't have to worry about anything else. But we try to make the machine do everything, so that's something you have to be very careful about it, right? Because as a human being, we become more successful because they're professional, we narrow. As a robotics, you want the robotic to do everything, then become professional, become effective. It's probably very difficult. So that's something you can think of. So as entrepreneurs, that's what I said. If you start something, we call go narrow, go deep, go with the flow. Narrow, deep, we mentioned that already. The flow is workflow. As long as you follow the workflow, potentially you could become a platform. Like we invest in a company called rippling. Like literally just doing the HR stuff, just pay the salaries, helping young companies, small companies to pay salaries. So started with a 1-person company, 2-person company. But they not only do the salary for the small companies, then they follow the flow of a company. So you need to do the salary, then you need to pay, and you need to do the employment training, you need to do the 401k insurance. So these companies just follow those customer needs, follow their workflow. Now they become a platform. So even public companies use their service. This company now is a $100 billion company. Just started with doing payroll. So that's what I say. For young people today start a company, still do that. Go narrow, go deep, and go with the workflow.